I just finished the main story of Pokemon Legends ZA, so I thought I would give a little review and whether you should think about purchasing these games. And I'm going to try and focus on things that others might not say, because I'm sure people are sick and tired of seeing, "It looks bad." And yes, I agree the graphics aren't spectacular, but they are better and still decent in my opinion. There will be spoilers ahead, so do be warned. So let's jump in with some pros. So first off, the game is just fun. The new battle mechanics are super refreshing, and I find myself actually wanting to battle, which I haven't felt in a long time in a Pokemon game. The boss fights are challenging, and definitely an upgrade from Arceus. I found myself actually struggling with them, and that usually doesn't happen in a Pokemon game for me, so that's really nice. And even with the limited space, there is a lot to do in this little city. With all the side quests and the night matches that you can do every time, the main story also kind of carries you through as well. You don't expect a lot, but there is a lot, which I really like. I really want to talk about the side quests, because even though not all of them are gems and can feel a little repetitive, it really does bring a lot of life into Lumiose. I think you really get to know how people live and how people are experiencing the city and living with Pokemon, and it's really nice to see that in person through these little side quest stories. Like you get some little fun ones of the guy getting stuck in a web, or you get harassed by a police officer, or even get to save this frozen Numel because they just stepped in the wrong area. Now there's a lot too, as these side quests will also show you tutorials of how to play the game better, and every mechanic that is in this game as well. Well, I don't think they do every mechanic, but I still haven't beat all the side quests yet, so I might be missing some. But overall, the side quests are a lot of fun, and I found myself trying to do those instead of just advancing the main story instead. They add a lot of lore and some really good storytelling in this game. While I do some things are rushed and a little bit half-baked, I will go over more of that in the cons area. But for now, you get really established more of Kalos and Lysandra, who are characters that we noticed in the last games but don't really get much more of. You also get a lot more story on AZ and all of his secret weapon and what he's been doing for the past 5 years. The game does take place 5 years in the future, just so you aren't aware. And you do meet a lot of new fun characters who add a lot of life into the city, and you make a lot of new friends. I didn't really find myself hating anyone in this game, which is really nice as well. One little thing I really like is that the entire time your team just knows that you're just the secret weapon or the tank. You were just an overpowered trainer the moment you step into Lumiose City, and that is just your entire vibe the entire game. And I just love that because they just yeah, we kind of suck, but this guy can kick your butt, and I just find that absolutely hilarious, and I love that entire time. I also love that even though you can explore the entire city pretty early on, it doesn't feel stale after going through the entire main story and everything, because it evolves with you as you play through the game. As you go through, the city changes so much, and I find myself finding new places that even though I thought I didn't find them because I was oh, I explored this area already. Nope, there's a new area I did not see before. I'm holy crap, where'd this come from? And then it was just fun exploring the entire city, and I still probably have a little bit more to explore, but I think I've seen most of it by now. Mega Phalanx is one of the greatest megas they've ever made, and I love this thing so much. I actually end up really liking the Brush Syndicate. I don't know what it is, but having a mafia-like group that is actually just super nice and generous, but everyone is terrified of them because they just come off as so sketchy. It's just absolutely hilarious to me, and I just love this whole group and what their style is. I don't know why, but they're my favorite part of the story, that's for sure. Also, Krabu has a great style in using Scolipede because, I used one myself the entire game. I do think they definitely upped the character customization. Scarlet and Violet, dreadful character customization. I hate it every outfit in that game, and I was oh, this is gonna suck. But they definitely had a lot more variety in this game. I still have not even seen all the outfits that they have to offer, so I definitely have to go through and look through some more. I think the end fight is some of the most peak Pokemon has ever had. It feels like the ending of Black and White, where you're trying to raid in that castle after N. It kind of feels like that, except everyone comes together to fight Ange, the tower thing, and the cutscenes are just really great. They look fun to watch, and I just wish there were more cutscenes like that in the game. And you basically get to see every single mega, which you might have missed throughout the game, which is really nice as well. And I feel like everyone truly shined in trying to help Lumiose City because, everyone had the same goal if they just wanted to help the city. And I think that was really, really good. They definitely nailed the ending. I just kind of wish the more story was like that. Alright, let's move to the cons. Alright, the first con I'm going to talk about is something not many people really probably will talk about, but I think the shiny noise is just way too similar to the item pickup noise. Every time I would pick up an item, and pass near a Pokemon, I'm oh crap, is that shiny? Turn around, no, I picked up an item, I didn't realize it. And it just would waste my time for a few minutes because it just sounds so similar. And I only ever heard a shiny noise once because I only found one shiny. But I kept thinking I kept finding more because of that noise, and I just was like, got myself hyped up for nothing. The wild areas, I really don't like the wild areas. I think they're too small and too compact, and they just don't really add much to the game besides, oh, we need a place to place a Pokemon. Boom. There they are. And I feel like they just feel random at times. And it's just like unnecessary. I also think they're just way too small and compact. Like you go into those areas and you're just stormed with wild Pokemon, and it just makes it hard to really like fight the ones that you want to fight and go after the Pokemon you want to do. And they're just not that good. Like I think they did it best with literally the last wild area, where it's everything's set in place in a nice distance from each other, and you just don't feel like you're getting slammed, and you can like take one Pokemon at a time, which I think is much nicer. And I kind of wish the rest of the wild areas were like that, but they're just way too small, they're too compact, and they feel like they just like took a chunk of the city and were like, yeah, these are Pokemon. I don't like that. I didn't really like that at all. The return of HMs. Kind of. It is more of a slight inconvenience. I just hated like, oh, now I have to break this bramble thing, and now I have to go and get a fire type or a slash move because, I don't carry one on my team. So I had to go into my inventory, go into the boxes, switch out Pokemon on the PC just to make a move thing, just to make an obstacle disappear. And like I get why they're there to like add a little bit more to the game, but like it's just a very inconvenience to me. I don't like it. As much fun as the battling is, it definitely still needs a little bit of work. I think Toxic is way too overpowered in this game, and I definitely do think they realize that too by making you mostly face Steel and Fire, like Toxic types, and not having it be able to use on the big guys. But it was just way over too powered. You just use Toxic, up you win, and I definitely abused that in the final fights with the Mega Pokemon. Sometimes just a lock on would just not work, or like you would just lock on to something that you were not trying to lock on and just would not let go of that lock. Like it was just like locking on was kind of the biggest pain in the butt. And sometimes you just lose a lock at like randomly important times when you shouldn't have, and you're just like, why did that happen? And you lose a Pokemon because of it, and you're like, oh, great, whatever. Catching Pokemon can be really weird in this game, especially since you have to get very close to the Pokemon to really aim the Pokeball at them. I do think it's definitely a big downgrade from Legends Arceus. I don't enjoy catching Pokemon as much in this game because it's kind of more of a pain than it felt before. And it's definitely way better than any normal game. But like, it's still a little bit of pain just because of how close you get to get, and how it's kind of hard to aim too, because like the lock-on issues as well. I really liked the day and night cycle, but I do have the small issue of if you're in the middle of a battle, it completely interrupts everything. And when you get back into the battle, it's like, oh, all that progress I just made to catch that Pokemon or defeat that Pokemon is now gone. That really bothered me a lot. It would happen to me quite often, and I was just like, come on. Really, we have to go through this again? Alright, my biggest complaint with this story are just the characters feel half-baked, and like some parts were just rushed. Like I felt the whole beginning was like weirdly rushed, but also too slow at the same time. It was really weird. It was just like you're just thrown into everything, and I didn't really like that. I wish they kind of took things a little bit smoother. Like in the beginning, maybe instead of, Tanya just picking you out of the crowd and be like, here, have a Pokemon. Oh wait, no, stolen, go catch the thing. Maybe like you get to explore the city a little bit before meeting anyone, and then, you get the chance to get your, find where you have to go, and then I don't know, just something a little bit more than just, get thrown directly into it, and just, I don't know. I found that really weird. But especially because, the characters, they also kind of had so much potential, but were kind of, missing something. Like, I think Naveen, he always talked about being a wardrobe person and wearing cool clothes and stuff. He never changed outfits. He always wore the same exact outfit. Maybe if he, changed outfits a little bit, it would, make sense that he has a fresh style and he wants to change it up and he's making new things. And it would also be cool too if he gave you some of his work. He does give you shoes at one point, but that's about it. Just one pair of shoes. Okay, that's cool, I guess. But I wish he kind of did a little bit more, because he wants to support the team, and his he wants to show off his art too, by still being hidden. Of course, he didn't really want the fame, which I understand. But it'd be cool to get to see his work. Nita, honestly, I felt like she was just there. I don't know much about her, even after playing through the entire game. I know she liked food. I know she danced, I think. Honestly, I just don't know. Her character was just kind of there, and I kind of feel bad about that. Same with AZ. He's the big guy, supposed to we're supposed to really bond and care about and do all this stuff for. But for the most part, he kind of just stood in the background. He didn't really talk that much, and Maybe I just missed some like little conversations that I should have gone and had with him or something, but I just feel like we didn't do much of AZ to really like care for him, and I felt bad like about that at the end because like it was a really sad moment. Though Tani is really good, she is a great character, and I liked her overall. She's very like cocky and kind of hard-headed sometimes, but like I feel like she was good, and then she wants to play the team leader and the role at the end, and she did do that overall, and I think that's really cool. I really do like her character, and with I don't know what the boy version name is, but that one too. But overall, I do think the main characters show very little character growth throughout the entire game. Like, they don't really change much besides, they stayed mostly the same. I think maybe there's a little bit of character growth, but it's just not that much to really care. That's all I really have to say about the story and, like, the characters overall. Mega Skarmory. Whoever okayed this, I'm sure some people do like this, but I think is the ugliest thing ever and definitely the worst Mega to exist. Like, what is this? They turn them gold, which is a cool color, but then the feet just ruin it. Oh my god, Mega Skarmory is so ugly. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. And with that being said, where's Professor Sycamore? Like, he's such a big part at Kalos, and he's the regional professor, and he just does not show up at all in this game. Like, where is he? Why isn't he here? Can he please be here, please? That'd be so nice. But maybe he shows up in the post game. I haven't got through the post game yet. Maybe he shows up there. But I don't know where he is. And I think it's weird that he doesn't show up at all. The final fight. As much as I love the final fight, and it definitely had its great moments, there are definitely some downsides. Like, I wish you kind of got to command Zygarde a little bit more and actually use him in a fight. Instead of, being stuck on the ground fighting the same 2 flowers 3 times. I kind of wish we moved around a little bit more too, and like were more prominent and useful in that fight, because I felt like we weren't that big hitters. I don't know. I feel like we did nothing while Zygarde was doing all the heavy lifting, while we were just standing down there using our Pokemon to attack 2 flowers. I felt that was a little bit silly, and definitely kind of like ruined that whole build-up to me. I do think the final scene with the explosion is great, but just that last like actual fight, I don't know. It was weird to me. I didn't like it, and that's about it with the cons. There's definitely more I could possibly say, but I'll save that for my video going over my entire journey. I think that despite the cons and pros though, you will have fun playing this game, especially if you're a longtime Pokemon fan, but whether you want to pick it up yourself is something I can't really say for you. It definitely has its ups and downs, but I definitely do think the ups outweigh the bad.